Well, the first thing we did for sure was just updating why they would need to go to an island with all these crazy dogs on it, which is come in with influencers, and how they might interact in creating competitions, and how the pull for fame might be what drives them to a place they should not want to go, but alas, they go anyway. So that would be one way we do that. And then the other is just, um, trying to make it just insane, nonstop action. The first movie had dogs running and biting, so we have dogs climbing trees and jumping out of them and jumping off of cliffs and swimming and all sorts of crazy nonsense. It changes depending on on the challenge in general, but on set during production, Griff is usually the headmaster on that because he's done. How many movies have you directed at this point,
I think
or
this is
or produced or whatever on set?
directed. I
50?
think this is 18.
18. He's done 18, and I've done two and a half with help. So so I usually follow him on production. And then I just come in with sort of like it's more about ideas and what shots might work and just the thread. And so that he'll lead as far as production goes, but then I'll take the lead maybe on the writing side at the beginning and then also in post a little bit. But then it also just becomes a messy kitchen. We bounce back and forth and just use each other as sounding boards until we find something that goes, yeah, this is what it should be, and then let's get it out. Sort of lightning in a bottle, as it were. They each had the right fit because they each had this perfect puzzle piece where they could work together as an ensemble, where they're different and where they're coming to each other, having to bring each other new perspectives to each other. And so having Virginia Gardner, who's just amazing, she's this funny comedian and just has this really great energy and really brought that character to life. This sort of like almost like stoner energy, but while you still care about the character. Grace did the exact same thing. She has this amazing sort of like 90s Sandra Bullock energy where there's this vulnerability, but at the same time, this like hardcore action hero in there. And then of course, Paige Kennedy is just amazing. He's just so damn funny and just completely brings his character to life. He's the kind of guy you just got to run the camera and just grab whatever the crazy is that's happening. Troy, beautiful actor. And all these guys just work together in perfect harmony, and they found their own characters in the end. And so Griff and I were fortunate enough to just sort of sit back and sort of follow the characters they created from our material. We didn't. There is no balance. We want for this kind of a thing. It's about getting as much of it as we can, as hard as we can, to create this just sort of maximum sort of satirical fun out of it. The balance comes from where is their room. So when you try to get as much as you can into this amazing 2 hour experience, and how much of that is action, how much of that is comedy, and Griff and I in the editing room would go back and forth. And it would flip flop, is it a little bit more of a horror film? Is it a little bit more of a comedy film? And I think we struck the right tone in the middle. But it starts with having no balance. It starts with just get it all in there. Let's try it. Well, there's definitely particular moments that I can't really talk, we're not going to talk about because we want them to still squirm through them. So we're hoping they can, but absolutely, I would say for this kind of a movie, for this kind of genre, we're pretty much exclusively thinking about the audience reaction. We're not thinking about anything else. We're certainly not thinking about things like statues or not thinking about any of these. We're exclusively thinking about if you watch this movie, are you going to get to the end of it in 2 hours and be like, that was nuts? It's just as much of a wild experience as possible. We are only thinking about the audience for a movie like this.